All right, we back. Motor City Sports Talk, me in the building. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Make sure that subscribe button, bell icon button. Now, the Detroit Lions play the Houston Texans in H-Town this preseason. So, they're going to be holding joint practices with the Houston Texans this year. They're going to arrive a few days early. Usually, Houston, according to the article I link from MLive into the description, Houston usually holds its preseason or its training camp in Virginia. So now Detroit can go and do a joint practice with Houston. And, it should be beneficial for both teams. Hopefully both teams stay healthy, kind of give a different look, the Lions saying, oh, man, the offense killing it or the defense killing it. Yeah, versus each other, but when they go against another team, then it's a real gauge on how good they can do, how bad they actually are, how good they actually are. It's a better gauge. Now, the article suggests that the Lions might do a joint practice with the Patriots since the Patriots come to town, I believe. I believe when we go there, they might do a joint practice with them, but it's no plans right now. But you can bank on a Patriot Way 2.0, do a joint practice, with the real Patriot Way, right? But the important part of this video is last year they did a joint practice with the Oakland Raiders, right? The Oakland Raiders were shopping Khalil Mack. He was sitting out, when he's holding out, they were shopping Khalil Mack, right? Obviously, the Detroit Lions, had the inside track. They was right there with the management, right there with the coaches, right there with John Gruden, who was running everything at the time before he fired Highland Park's own Reggie McKenzie. And shout out to HP, man. But they could have made a deal. They didn't jump at a deal. And obviously, I believe they lost 2 first-round picks this year than last year for the Oakland Raiders. So if you believe that, Khalil Mack would have made a big difference, then you probably would have pulled off the trade. And he did sway the power of balance in the NFC North towards the Chicago Bears. Without Khalil Mack, the Bears probably don't win the division, and they probably don't make the playoffs, right? But that's nor here nor there. Now, this year they have another opportunity to get the inside track on another guy that's not going to hold out, but he signed a franchise tender, and there's talks of, and there have been talks for quite some time before the draft and now after the draft, that the Houston Texans may shop Jadeveon Clowney. They may not be, locked in him long term. He got a reputation for being injured, but he really ain't been that injured of late. You know what I'm saying? Another guy that's amazing, speed to power, can put his hand in the dirt, can be a game changer. Now, the thing about Jadeveon Clowney is that he's not going to demand 2 number ones. Maybe a 1 and a 3 at the most, or the 1 and a 4 at the most. You can give him 1 this year, maybe a 2 the following draft in 2021 or something like that. But, I feel that the Detroit Lions should go for it. This ain't a high-profile guy like Khalil Mack, but once again, you're going to sign him to a contract extension when he comes over. Now, you can try to, talk him into, hold on, we get this Stafford situation down pack or whatever. When Stafford gets to the part of his contract where it ain't guaranteed no more, or, after June something, Stafford contract, his cap hit is $10 million. So, wait till we get this shit situated, with him, and we get out the big guaranteed money from him. And then we can get you to a contract, or you can just sign him up. They got about $25 million under the cap, so they still can sign him and make it where the cap hit ain't that bad. You can put his hand in the dirt in 4-3. You can stand him up. He could drop a little bit. He could rush standing up. He can cover. You know what I'm saying? Then he dynamic. He's just a playmaker. Now, him and J.J. Watt never got a chance to play with each other for real while they both was healthy. But I think, in this Patriot scheme, he's a good player. You know what I'm saying? He bring a lot to the table. He bring a lot of speed, a lot of power. And, he can give you that Khalil Mack effect. I'm not saying that he going to be Khalil Mack. He going to sit there and he going to get, make those type of plays. And he accounted for so many fumbles and interceptions and touchdowns this year. No, but that's why the value of Jadeveon Clowney not that high. You know what I'm saying? That's Khalil Mack. But you know what? When you go to the next tier, he like the second best thing to Von Miller and Khalil Mack. The second tier. And I feel that, the Pistons should at least, the Detroit Lions should at least knock on that door, and ask them if he's still there during training camp. They should still try to facilitate a trade for Jadeveon Clowney, because at the end of the day, they lack drafting those guys. You know what I'm saying? They played Trey Flowers $90 million. I didn't feel like he was a $90 million player. I don't care what nobody say. For $90 million, I don't give a fuck if, Joe Smo next to you gets 60 sacks. You need to be getting 12 to 15 sacks. And, Booker McFarland, he just solidified what I said, and he said that as well, too. He don't see Trey Flowers like that. If Trey Flowers is so important to the gang, to the Patriot gang, they would have paid him. But we know they cheap. They let Richard Seymour go, and once Richard Seymour left the Patriots, he was no more. He was getting older. So you always got to be skeptical when somebody leave that Patriot system and go to another system. But what a lot of Lions fans holding on to is the simple fact that Trey Flowers is going to a system that's similar. They believe that Flowers and Amendola work ethic will rub off on other players and show players the Patriot way. And it is what it is. They believe that, right? But my whole thing is they need top-end talent. They need an elite athlete like Jadeveon Clowney. You know what I'm saying? They can go out there and rush. You put him with Trey Flowers. You know, if he got the impact that he's supposed to have and Jadeveon do what he's supposed to do, that's elite right there. That's somebody that can rush, put his hand in the dirt, rush standing up, and dropping coverage. He's just an elite athlete. You know, people seeing what he did to that Michigan running back. He the same player. He's been a little bit injured early in his career, but he was fairly healthy last year. And, you know, the problem with the Houston Texans, if you ask, why Jadeveon, they got Watt and Jadeveon, why didn't they do better back end? You know, be honest, the Lions back end this year is better than Houston. And honestly, they back end should have been better last year if it wasn't for the lack of depth at the second cornerback position. You know what I'm saying? Because Darius Slay would be the best cornerback on Houston. You know what I'm saying? And Quadre might be the best safety. You know, I know the Honey Badger was over there, you know, but I don't think it's a huge gap between the two. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, you know, if you want to put the Honey Badger above him, I ain't going to argue with you, but I don't think it's a huge gap. So, like I said before, you know, they back end wasn't that good last year. You know, it just wasn't, you know, and that's one of the reasons Kareem Jackson, he owed his dirt playing corner. He was slow coming to the league. You know, so your front end and back end got to work in cohesion. You know, your back end got to be able to get a solid rush. Your front end got to be able to get a solid rush. Your back end got to be able to make the plays when they make quarterbacks hurry to pass and stuff of that nature. So, you know, I just think Jadeveon Clowney is worth, you know, looking at for Detroit Lions, even if they want to, you know, acquire now about him or they want to wait to training camp. And when they do a joint practice with the Houston Texans, I think it's worth it. You know, if they moving him, and like I said before, it's been word that they shopping him. They may not see him in their long-term plans. See what's up. Sometimes you get an offer that they can't refuse. Now, then the side effect to that is that Jadeveon Clowney, you might have to give up a first. You might have to give up a fourth. So that's the down effect. Same thing with Chicago. But Chicago had drafted well, you know, from Leonard Floyd to a lot of the other dudes they got up there, Raekwon Smith. They had drafted well. So pretty much, and they did well in free agency. Allen Robinson. They drafted Anthony Miller. They got the Trey Burton from the Eagles. They free agency. You know, they done well. So they had the luxury of trading for Khalil Mack. They had the luxury of trading for him because they were solidified in like damn near every position. The Lions, you know, you look at them, you know, we don't know about the second cornerback spot. Our nickel is solidified with Justin Coleman. Slay got our number one spot. We got Walker and Quadre in the back end. Our front end should be straight. I don't know who's gonna rush the passer up the opposite side of Flowers. They play a traditional 4-3. I'm just gonna assume it's gonna be Devin Kennard standing up, putting his hand in the dirt. Robinson, Hand, you know what I'm saying? Snacks, Flowers. Our weakest point on defense that I know of right now is probably the number 2 cornerback position and the linebacker position. You know what I'm saying? We got to see what Jelani Tavai bringing, and I think he's going to start at middle. And then what Dave was doing on the outside and what they do with Devin. But then offensively, you know, we got some questions at right guard, right tackle in the future. May have a question at left tackle. So pretty much, you know, receivers seem to be okay. But, you know, it's a risk that you take. That if you get a talent like Jadeveon, you pass up on Khalil Mack, you know, something to counter the Bears, and Jadeveon might change life for Detroit. But then again, it's always the risk of you paying that guy that type of money. He getting lazy, he get injured, and that's a risk with anybody. You know, Clowney got an injury history, but like I said before, he ain't injury prone as he was. He got it together. You know, Khalil Mack got injured a little bit last year, but his impact was so massive. So, yeah, it is what it is. Motor City Sports Talk. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not saying that they should 100% go after Clowney, but it's something that they should look into. You know what I'm saying? He is a special talent. I think he's still in his prime, and he got a lot more to offer and a lot more to learn in the game of football. But don't forget, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Check out the channel, our Goodfellas Sports TV, for more sports and music entertainment. One time for the one time. We gone.